Howdy, cadre. Uh, wait. Okay, wait. Yes, recording. 18 seconds in. All right. Yeah, I'm having a trouble resolving this. I know there's a lot of details that I had talked about already that were lost to my software problems. So I know you're not getting the same story that you would have gotten if my software hadn't failed. I can't resolve that. I mean, I could try and keep going back and revisiting all the details, but part of the problem with that would be that I would be repeating myself in the confusion, and so you'd be hearing some of the same details over and over again. And I don't know as all the details are important to the story. And when I started talking about my property disputes, or my rental disputes with my landlord, I guess, my intent was just to be vague and personal and not share his name. Actually, at this point, I don't know if you've heard his name. When I shared it, it was kind of on a whim. But, I should explain that I don't often act based on whims. Certainly in high school, and maybe this relates to my Gemini nature, that often when I was alone, I would act based on whims. I had a paper route, and I would sometimes take hours to do my paper route. Because instead of just focusing on it, getting it done in about 40 minutes or whatever, I would take my time and enjoy it, and I would follow whims. I would, look at birds or talk to people I encountered or explore the neighborhood. It was a pretty cool way to spend my time because I felt justified in walking through people's yards and stuff if I wanted to, because I was delivering their papers, and I was respectful of properties that weren't getting my paper, and I never caused damage or anything. I wasn't trying to cause problems or create conflict or anything. But, in the winter, I'd sometimes do my route on cross-country skis, and I'd cut through people's yards, and there were certain places where I used regular shortcuts to get to a property that had a really long driveway, and if I went around to the street, it would take me a lot more time. And none of the people, I didn't run through flower beds or gardens or anything like that. So my customers, they'd see me, know what I was doing. Anyways, Sidetrack. Literally. In real life and in Minecraft. IRL, IMC. Ooh. Whoop. Hey. Danger. Construction site. That is a big dig. Anyways, so, and I was also, as a kid, given a lot of time to myself. I had my own bedroom. My brother was 4 years older and often busy with other things when I was home. And so I had a lot of time where I could follow whims and indulge whims. But I was not impulsive in my speech or social interactions. Early on, I became someone who was quite in control of myself and in control of my own emotions, at least to the extent of how I shared them with others. And maybe this is kind of commentary on my family or something, but I turned into a person who was rather private about my feelings. It was probably more due to being a male in society and interaction with people at school and friends and stuff. But it might have had something to do with my family too. My dad, to a large extent. But anyways, I mentioned Gemini because that seems to be like some sort of almost split personality. It's not. I think we all behave. Well, I shouldn't say all, because I know people who are honest and open with strangers on the street. And if they're filled with emotion, it just bubbles out of them, either through behavior or speech or appearance, body language. And there's different forms of that. Some people just choose logically and rationally to be open and communicative and share, and other people are just naturally that way, that they don't know how to hide their emotions or keep their thoughts from being written on their face or whatever. But I guess that's my point, is that I try to be open and honest and sharing in venues where I feel safe and comfortable and with trusted people. But certainly in professional settings and around strangers or even just new acquaintances or whatever, I tend to keep my emotions to myself and my thoughts to myself too. It makes social media an interesting space because it's a place where you can be open and honest, but you don't necessarily know who you're interacting with. So there are a lot of times when you feel safe and comfortable, or even not somewhat anonymous, but then you get attacked personally based on people's interpretation of your character, and it can lead into all sorts of annoying cycles where you have to defend yourself, explain yourself, justify your actions and things. Well, I thought I was going to talk about my landlord dispute more. But the point I was trying to make is that I don't know what things you missed. Certainly you can ask questions, and I might answer those questions in a future episode of Greenfield. Beep. What's going on here? We've got, okay, it doesn't go up though. It's just like a, not really a scaffolding. It's in, oh, didn't mean to do that. It looks like an unfinished, like a concrete mold. Like they're gonna form a concrete pillar in there. Whoa, what? Oh, it's just, okay, it's just concrete or something. Am I stuck in here now? There's an opening. Okay. Yeah, Margolis. His name is Margolis, my landlord. I don't know if you've heard me say it or if that part was cut out, but I've learned from my work for the federal government that PII, personally identifiable information, is protected in certain ways under the law. And this has nothing to do with my work. Neither this YouTube channel nor my property dispute has anything to do with my work for the U.S. government, that's for sure. And most of the laws protecting PII are about how I need to protect information I collect during my work duties. And currently I'm not even employed. My contract came to an end, and I'm waiting for a call to be reactivated. Not sure if that'll even happen. The pandemic might have changed things. They wanted to switch me to a different role. Still field operations, but different title, different focus. And so by ending my contract, they put my application back into the field of, or the pool of applicants, potential employees. And I checked my status on the portal, and it says my application's in good standing, and I'm even marked as experienced now. But I've been waiting about a month and haven't gotten a call, so I'm not sure exactly what's going on with that. But anyway, so yeah, again, I may have already said this to you, but I might have lost it when my software failed, so I'm going to repeat myself. I apologize, but I found it interesting to learn that our names are public information. And it makes logical sense because our names are how we're identified publicly to each other and to the government. So I think anytime someone wants to share a name, they can. Where it gets dangerous, though, is when you share it with other information. Things along the lines of birth date, birthplace, age, other biometric information like height, weight, medical history, diagnoses, and then I think, into the realm of address, phone number. Anytime you link any of that information with somebody's full name, you're putting yourself, and them, at greater risk. It's interesting that now, even on the internet, people have this idea that doxing is wrong, releasing personal information about others is wrong. But there's a lot of gray area in the law, certainly. And it depends on why you're releasing it, how you're releasing it, what you're releasing, and how you got that information. Obviously, if it's publicly available information, you're not likely to be held or faulted, legally or otherwise, if you share it. But even that gets weird, because if you have a local phone book and get an acquaintance's phone number from a local phone book and then publish it online, you're making it more public. Arguably it was public, but you're propagating it. Anyways, and I generally just avoid it, If I talk about people, I tend to use YouTube screen names or just first names, so that if I refer to somebody multiple times, and there's plenty of people I've met through YouTube that I might do that with, especially Ian, Ben, Zach. And just by saying Ian, Ben, Zach, I'm not really releasing anything about them. And there's also plausible deniability that even if I said something bad about one of them, or something compromising about one of them, if all I'm saying is their first name, they or I can simply say, well, it could have been another Zach, or whatever. You don't know specifically who I'm talking about. If I combine that with a channel name, it's a little bit different. But even there, if I don't spell the channel name, there's some amount of plausible deniability that it could have been a channel that sounds the same but is spelled differently, or what have you. But I usually don't share a lot of personal stories anyway. And if I do, I try to be vague. Because I'm really focused on the concepts, the ideas involved. And my hope is that if you're listening to me, you're not looking to troll somebody or expose someone, that you're just trying to hear my stories, get my perspective, maybe learn something, maybe just pass the time to a soothing voice or whatever. I don't know. I don't know why you're here. And from what I see, most of what's listening is just bots. Which isn't really listening, I suppose. Most of my views are from bots, as far as I can tell. Anyway, so I probably should not be doing this right now. This whole Minecraft recording YouTube nonsense. I probably should be sorting through some of my stuff, putting it in boxes, getting it ready to be moved, or doing apartment searches, filtering through listings, looking at prices and locations, and thinking about possibilities, or researching the law, figuring out my next steps. But I do think I'm going to pursue the idea of some free legal aid and try and have a consultation meeting where I can ask some of these questions I've been thinking about for a few weeks and get some professional advice on the best path moving forward. Because I really do need to figure out my focus. If I need to move in, let's see, I guess I have 4 weeks now. I just kind of got extra time because they said they sent a letter, but it never arrived, and that's a legal requirement. Before they can start the eviction process, they have to give me a notice to quit. And since I never received the first one, they had to send a new one, which has given me 3 more weeks, I think. So now I have maybe 4 weeks. Until they asked me to move out, and then that becomes a fork in the road that has a big influence over my future. And I don't know whether they'd start an eviction process or come to the table and talk with me about our dispute. Or some third path. But I certainly feel like I need to use my next week to figure out what my stance will be moving forward from there. And I know that in some places, just having eviction proceedings starting goes on your public record and can affect your future. That some people might, I don't know, they focused on like South Carolina, where places will deny you rental just because eviction proceedings started. Even if they didn't conclude or were dismissed, they might deny you rental. And I feel like maybe Michigan isn't that judgmental, so to speak, that there may be tenant rights laws in place that mean that if they failed to evict me, and I don't know what those paths forward are either. I mean, if the court rules in my favor, I mean, if the court evicts me, I think the issue of back rent is separate, or it may be resolved in that proceeding. And certainly then I have to move out, I think within either 10 or 30 days. And at that point, the police show up with a court order. I mean, that's what the eviction is a court-backed notice that you need to move out. And I still think they give you a little bit of time, but yeah. But yeah, eventually in the process, the police show up with the court order and physically remove you. And I certainly have no desire to take it that far, which is why I'm already starting to move stuff out and preparing for potential eventualities. But I think likely the outcome would be I mean, see, that's what I don't understand. If I'm in eviction proceedings and say, I'm willing to move out, but I want clarity on these disputes with my landlord, my guess is that the court, I don't know what that block is. My guess is that the court would define what would need to happen. And there would probably be things I would be responsible for, like moving out and cleaning the place, and that my landlord would be responsible for, like paying fines or compensating me for his violations within, a similar time frame or whatever. And maybe those would be contingent on each other. Like, I don't have to move out until he complies with the law and gets the building up to code. And again, all that would be accomplishing for me, really, is buying myself more time and getting a sense of justice and forcing him to deal with his statutory obligations that he's ignored for so long. Which does seem just kind of petty to me. If he would come to the table and say, listen, if you move out in the time I've asked you to, then I'm not going to fight you on the security deposit. You can have that back. And I'm not going to pursue you for the back rent. If he were to say, I just want to sell the property and resolve our dispute, and we had some clarification on that, I'd say great. It used to be nice knowing you, and over time, it's been worse and worse trying to deal with you. I like this city design. I really do. In fact, right here, like this reminds me of Boston, maybe, or there are places that have these elevated highways. Boston's the best example I can think of off the top of my head. And I've not been to downtown. Well, I guess I was in downtown Boston. That's where I was picked up by Ben, oh so many years ago, but didn't spend much time there or see the area that looks like that, I guess, with all the elevated highways and swirling off ramps. But I like that they've made it cut through at an angle or a curve, so it kind of breaks up the grid of the city. It seems a lot more realistic than some Minecraft cities are, because if you completely stick to the grid, it doesn't mimic reality as well, because what you always end up with is jurisdictional issues and which properties can you buy, which properties can you claim eminent domain and retake, and all of that determines where you're building, where you can plan and build your highways. And then you just have the logistical issues of like where do the ramps connect with other roads, where are your exits and access points, how do you need to grade it and curve it to get to where you're trying to go. And you know, even this seems, we're in an industrial area town. This huge building looks like a factory of some sort. It even looks to me like it would be materials related. Like the top strip is, I mean, it could be big vents, big HVAC systems, heating, ventilation, and cooling. And then they have this big lot because they want to store materials on the grounds. And you know, maybe this is abandoned, which is why there's nothing stored out here. But back when it was industrial, that's why the ground's so ripped up. And this outer building might be just a loading zone for semis or whatever, or a storage facility, or just an office. But the verticality may be that they're filling tanks or silos with materials. Okay. It's getting to be night again. I definitely feel like this is a lot quicker go if I just sleep when it gets dark wherever I am. Rather than fighting with monsters through the night. That might be better. More appealing from the viewer perspective. But these last few videos have been contemplative and narrative in and focus. And actually, I'm enjoying this more because I feel like I've pretty much finished the broad strokes of my story, of my rental dispute. And I kind of felt like I was in a panic before because I was trying to finish the story and finish the Southwest map at the same time. And since all that failed for technical reasons, I'm now just, my focus is finishing the map, and I'm just kind of rambling as I do that. Yeah, and with the trains here, like, they may have gotten cargo trains coming in where they unload goods for their manufacturing. Then they load them in shipping containers that could either be put on trains or trucks to be shipped off. And they may even be close to a waterway. I don't really see that. But yeah, this stuff is like old equipment, old semis here. Like I was just saying even before I saw them. This looks like a loading bay or storage facility. This looks like an office. Oh, a truck office. So they might even, I mean, conceptually they could own this property but do a lot of work for that manufacturing, or they could rent this space from them and handle their shipping, or, you know, this could just be part of the operations in a bigger whole. This is just a canal, so it wouldn't be for transport, I guess. But all of this makes a lot of sense. A canal like this, you wouldn't want to build a house next to, looking over. So once this area is zoned industrial, they don't have to worry as much about appearances. Work. Alright, I'm going to check my timestamp. 40. Alright, that's about, 38, but yeah, you know. It's about what it felt like to me, so that's fine. I still got a pretty big corner of the map. I could try and just finish it this episode, I think. Might take 1 or 2 more sleeps. I guess I'll wrap around the end of this. See how the next few minutes go. Oh. Whoa, there's a lot of nasties in there. I guess that's part of this game, is that with the city built like this, especially if I'm sleeping, oh, I should take, I don't need a fletching table. Cartography table is what I could use a spare of. Yeah, there's not much mobs spawning out on the surface world because it's all somewhat lit at night and built and defined. I need to go through there? It can't be that big, right? I should be able to map it from around its edges. Oh, these are loading docks. That's cool. Stairway. So like upper offices, I guess. Oh, I don't want to deal with a creeper, I don't think. Goodbye. Duck out of there. Industry. The machine has ground to a halt when the humans all disappeared or froze or turned into costumes on armor stands. I don't have a good way through here. But yeah, so procrastination confirmed. I like the idea of finishing this map. So even though I feel like I've pretty much resolved my story, if I can finish this up, then I've got one more map I can put on the wall, and that finishes a bigger square, a 2x2 square. Somebody in that house, and or underneath it. Melons? Pumpkins? Do I have beets? Do I care about any of this? Low on space. I should be carrying shulker boxes, really. Farming interlude? God, even here in this dead city, I feel... Oops. I feel a responsibility to replant these crops. Do I have a crafting table handy? Huh. A book. All right, we're getting serious now. This is something. Oh, I just messed up that same. Okay, all right. making some small progress. It's getting dark. That's fine. Good. The monster wandered away. Gave me enough space. Okay. Bunch of seeds. I don't care about the seeds. Q, 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 Q. Alright. We've replanted. Oh, just a little bit too much. Well, I thought that was the composter. What? Why is there no composter? Am I forgetting what it's called? Seriously? Did I need one solid wood as the base? Is that my issue? Now what is the dealio? Is it not called a composter? I feel like an idiot right now. I don't know what. Composter. Oh, it's made out of slabs. Okay. Alright. That makes some amount of sense. I'm still failing. I am still failing. Complicated and slow. Ah, man. Failing. Alright. Composter. Alright. So. All this just to save. Well, save. To keep some sprites from despawning. Alright, I'm gonna make a whatever, an ugly deck. Did I want some of those seeds? What am I doing? What did... Oh, I hit the flowers. Interesting. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Don't think that was my intent at all. 6 oak planks. Should have left that helmet behind. It was about to... Alright, it's okay. We're gonna do a simple thing, which is to create a little chest here and put some stuff that we don't care about, like slabs and wool. Alright, and then... Okay, and then we were curious about this book. This is a virtual memorial to those lost during the 2020 Easter Sunday tornado outbreak. May the 32 victims of this great tragedy rest in peace. Alright, well, I will respect that memorial and leave it there. I guess this whole house is a... memorial? Soccer ball. Toaster's first build. 10 Teller Road. Alright. Whoa, hey. Have some respect for the builder and people lost in his tornado tragedy. It's a nice build, especially for a first build. I mean, he probably means first build in this city. I don't think this was his first build ever. Probably first build in Greenfield. Alright. I got 2 slots. I certainly need my bed. Oops. The bones I don't need. Now, I could just get more flowers with it. I have watermelons. And I don't think I need pumpkins, but I don't know if I have pumpkins, so pumpkins it is. And I have beetroots, but I don't know if I have them at home. And maybe I need beetroot seeds, so... Beetroot seeds. Oh. Drat. I think I have beetroots. all of this is a waste of time. That's for sure. I apologize for that. Alright, at this point, I should probably do one more procrastination episode where I ramble about nothing. Just to finish this map up, and then, yeah, I'll probably wrap up this map, take it back to home base. That's a nice footbridge. And then I can switch from Greenfield to infinity and beyond. Insert catchphrase here.